Focus on the next step in front of you. Don't get overwhelmed by the staircase. You can always go one more step. You can always do one more step. When I was in Death Valley National Park, I was hiking up to Mount Perry, and you had to hike, I want to say, like 9 to 10 miles from where we had to park to get to the camping spot. And I had like a 30-pound pack. I was gonna camp on top of Mount Perry and spend the night. And I haven't gone hiking for a while, and I was a lot heavier than I normally am. And I remember just like 2 miles in, I was dead. I was extremely tired. It was in Death Valley, so it was decently hot. It was in like February or March, but it was still pretty hot. It is Death Valley, so um, but yeah, I was just super tired and I was beat, and I had about like 7 miles left on this hike with like 30 pounds on my back, and I just started looking at the ground, and I said one, 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 as in one more step. I knew, hiking 7 miles, getting a couple thousand elevation gain seemed impossible. But I knew in that moment I could do one more step, and that was all I was going to focus on. And continued to hike 7 more miles with thousands of feet of elevation gain, and ended up spending the night on top of that mountain. And I don't think I could have done it if I didn't just zoom in and focus on the next step. I didn't, if you asked me in that moment if I could do 7 miles, thousands of steps, and thousands of feet of elevation gain, I probably would have said no. But if you asked me if I could do one more step, I would have said yes. And that's where I reverted my attention to and focused on. I took it away from the big picture and brought it to the small picture, the next milestone, the next step, because I knew I could do that one. And I wasn't sure I could do the big one, but I was sure I could do the next one. And I feel like I think about that a lot because it comes back into my real life, or I mean, my day to day daily activities. Sometimes, the big picture seems impossible, but I know the next step I need to take to get the big picture. So instead of focusing on this goal or this thing super far down the line, a bunch of milestones ahead, and looks impossible and can barely even see the light, I focus on the next step, the next milestone, the next thing I can do in this moment to get me closer to that goal. And that mindset shift has helped me a lot, just focus on the day-to-day daily activities to get me closer to my goals and the person I want to become and the character I want to develop, and all those things that are goals further down the line, that are dreams that seem impossible and seem big and overreaching. But when you just shrink it down a bit and focus on the next step, it all seems so much easier, and you think you can do it because you can always take one more step. So I urge you to focus on that. Just one more step, one more day, one more thing, and work from there. Don't I mean, obviously you want to have your north star, your purpose, your goal, your thing in the future that you're striving for, the person you want to be, the thing you want to become, the goal you want to reach. But if you only look at that, you know, once you're unmotivated and you don't want to do it anymore and you're tired, that goal is going to seem so far away, you're just going to give up. But if you're able in those moments to think smaller and just think about the next step and getting one step closer, 1 inch closer, 1 centimeter closer, I believe it becomes so much easier. And before you know it, you're 10 steps, 20 steps, 50 steps, 100 steps in, and you've just been focusing on one more step, but you're 100 steps closer to the ultimate end goal that you are striving for. And I believe you can always do one more step.